Hey, how's it, guys? Welcome to my channel. I have no idea if anybody can hear me or not. Please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to play some videos that I've filmed and edited, or sometimes not edited. And I'm not going to talk too much, but if a point does come up, I might talk about it. Unless I see somebody throw a topic at me in the chat, I will see what's happening. All right, in the meantime, I will play some of my videos. I have not posted a video in the last 3 months. I sort of lost interest after the summer solstice back in December. And I mean, I did film the sunrise, I did edit the video, I didn't do any voiceovers or anything like that. Um, but I have all the information and the visuals to refute pretty much any flat earther that one, or should I say, who wants to talk about any observations to do with the sun. We do have clouds, which sometimes for me serves almost like a solar filter. So I haven't gone out and bought like a true solar filter yet. I have in the past, if you've watched my channel, you might have seen that I've used two welding glasses, which is not so bad, but what it does is makes the sun look green. And I don't want to give any fluffs out there, any false impressions about the sun. Because from what we can understand, the sun is white, technically white. I don't know how you would explain that. And what? Oh, everything okay?
Yeah.
That's why we see rainbows, or should we say what? The scattering of light when the sunlight passes through raindrops or moisture in the atmosphere, then we see that scattering of light. So I've done so many observations, too many. I just put a few here in my little playlist that I've created with this StreamYard. I finally figured out how to do it. And every time back in the past, I mean, as I said, I lost interest about the summer solstice. You know, that was my fourth observation in a row. And for all the times that I've made that observation, the summer solstice, where the sun rises and sets, that direction has not deviated yet. Maybe it will deviate in the future. I don't know. And that's why I will keep making these observations from my vantage point here. I did start back in November 2018, and we are now in April 2023. I'm not sure how much longer I will stay in this place, so I might as well make the best of it with all the little objects. Well, I say little, little from my perspective on this earth, but all these objects that I've been observing for quite a number of years now. And I don't know if I have even the patience to even compile all this information I've gathered. Now I've got a binder full of 5 p.m., for example. And the first 5 p.m. photo I ever took was on the 1st of November 2018. The first photo I ever took in this place of the moon was back in July of 2018, when Mars and the moon were in the eastern skies together. And I've been making these observations for so long now. And flat earthers keep talking about things that have nothing to do with the simple observations. In the beginning, back in June of 2018, when I first discovered that there are actually people who still think that the earth is flat, and use all the information that we've gathered and observed and measured to say, oh, well, all of that just shows a flat earth. But all my observations don't let me buy into that point. If you look at how the moon behaves in relation to where you are on the earth, and unfortunately, I always have to say this, and we always have to clarify what we mean by whatever words we are using. And I have to say my position on the earth. And I was arguing with myself to talk about whether maybe life would be so much easier if the earth was flat. Then we wouldn't have all these observations which make you feel like you are on a moving object, and you are you know in an orbit around a star. And I don't know if any flat earther has even done a proper analemma. An analemma is you just choose a time. Yes, I was hoping that somebody would be here to talk to me about it. Hi, Mepet. And uh, I did see that Bob Nodell passed away. And obviously, we would have to thank him for the contribution he has made to all of us. I mean, that guy literally went out and forked out the money and got the thing and made the measurements on camera, which other flat earther has really done that, besides like Jaron and maybe Mad Mike. But yeah, condolences to his family. I'm sure he was a treasure to his family. And the flat earth community, even though they had disagreements, they liked him. They spent time with him. They made a movie with him. And the globe side obviously took all these challenges as serious. So, yes. And we know that we can't say just get over it. We have to say you have to live with all the good memories, discard all the bad memories, remember him for what he gave to society, etc. I'm not very good with this stuff. It's very emotional. But yes, we win some, we lose some. And for Bob Nodal, he actually won. I'm sorry to say. And maybe he denied it for whatever reason he wanted to. That ring laser $20,000 gyroscope really demonstrated the motion of the earth. Don't you think? Hey guys, hi guys. Thanks, Bob and Rip. From Gregory. Hi, Gregory. Sorry, I was just chatting away. Just I didn't even know that people might actually listen to me because this is my first real just day off since I started working 9 months ago. Like I get my 2 days off every 2 weeks, but this is my first real day off when the shop is closed and I didn't have to give the key to anybody and just park off at home and contemplate all these things that are happening all around us. And welcome, and anybody celebrating Easter. Um, I don't know, how do you say Happy Easter? Personally, I don't celebrate any religious holiday. I don't know if you can still hear me. Please write in the chat if you can still hear me while the video is playing and I keep talking. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think anybody is celebrating his death as such. I think that we can just talk about, I mean, I didn't even hear anybody mention how he passed away or what happened. Um, I just heard everybody, like, I watched that compilation that MC Toon made, and I think that was very sweet of MC Toon because we are all people. And everybody I talk to, I always say this: you're a person, I'm a person. Because we are a person together, we can feel empathy. And most of us have had loss. And some losses are deeper than others. And, you know, for some people, we do say harsh things. We can, you know, you can have respect for the dead and still um, call out the right or wrong that that person has done in a very respectful way. I didn't find anything disrespectful about that video that MC2 made. I mean, most of the guys started with, I didn't know him, but a lot of the guys did watch, live streams with this guy, with other people, with Jaren, with the Nathans. And I'm just reading a comment. Ah, right. You see how we can't even talk about that. Like maybe that is too soon, So what I'm gonna do is keep showing my videos. And if you guys want to maybe comment, because Venus is really high in the sky from like an altitude perspective. from my position here on the ground, as I was saying, um, in the west northwest, very deep in the west northwest now. And back in December, it was still in the west southwest. And I do have all the videos to make like a compilation. Um, Even of the moon, I've got so many compilations. In fact, I think I've lined up a video here. I think it is the Venus compilation. Um, this is not the Venus compilation. This is still back in December 2021 when it was the waxing crescent moon and Venus. And as you can see at the bottom of the video there was some lightning. And I haven't given you guys a lightning video in quite some time. Now, unfortunately, I do have a few videos on my phone, which I can't transfer to my laptop right now because the network is really bad. And my phone is completely offline. And so I might have to keep those videos for a different time. But I do have some other videos of, like, for example, where the sun was on the 7th of April 2020. This was one of the first videos I took of the moon. And as you can see, I had a terrible camera and it was refusing to focus. But what you can see there is the atmosphere. So I don't know if you guys remember Donnie of Daytona back in February of 2020, where he made a couple of videos of the moon and insisted that he was looking through the waters above. Now, unfortunately, with me filming so often, and I've done it with, as you guys know, I do it with a cell phone camera. My phones have gotten smarter and smarter over the years. I did start with like a Hisense something that was so terrible. And then I moved on to like a really Hong Kong off a Hisense, which was called an Empire. And the only thing good about that phone was that it had its own time lapse. And with that phone is how I learned about time lapse. Otherwise, damn, it took so long to learn so many things. And then I moved through a couple of phones, and then I had my Huawei Y5 2019, which took some really good video. But that's when I really started noticing the actual movement of our atmosphere. Our atmosphere is in constant motion, being dragged by the rotation of the planets. And that's what causes, wind, when a higher pressure crashes with a lower pressure. And the higher pressure is closer to the ground. I hope I'm correct. And the lower pressure is as you move away from the planet through the atmosphere. And that's one of the reasons why we put like Hubble and the James Webb is way away from our atmosphere. It's because we are standing at the bottom of an ocean of air. And looking through this air is a real It's a real bitch. Okay. I really struggle even on really dark nights when the moon is either, you know, below the horizon, either um, like after sunset or before sunrise or whatever it is, and you don't have the moon distorting the view and brightening everything up, I still struggle to see objects like Mercury. And that is because of the moving atmosphere. And you will see in my videos now. Now I've got a really sophisticated Samsung Galaxy A33 5G. And its camera is really nice during the day and really nice during the nights. But when it comes to dusk or dawn, I really struggle. Oh my goodness. Hi, Purple. If you're not busy, maybe you want to join me because obviously I'm just talking away by myself to the few people who are listening. Let me know in Discord. Yeah, so I've got all my videos. I even took observations like where that is the moon there. I'm trying to zoom in on it. And on the opposite side of the sky was the sun. And a lot of flat earthers do make a big deal about, oh, how can you see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time? It's because all of us are in motion. We all have our own motions. By we all, I hope clearly I mean, you know that I mean um, the earth and the moon. We are doing our things. So I am trying to make a slideshow and I'm still struggling to put that together. I don't know how to render it into like one smooth video to show the sun at approximately 5 p.m. And I put the photos together. I've already lined them up. I just don't know how to make them into a video. But clearly, from my position on this earth, you can see the figure 8 that the sun makes across the sky as the year progresses. So for my demonstration, I started in April 2019. It's a pity. I don't know how to show you guys. Maybe I can send it to my phone and then use one of the apps on the phone to make that slideshow. Um, so we start off in the west northwest, leaving west on the autumn equinox and heading right from my perspective on the earth. Uh, and I want to say down towards the horizon. Um, or should I say lower in altitude from the horizon day to day until it gets to 3 point something. I don't have my file. I left my file at work, where I wrote down all the times 4, 5 p.m. since I took my first photo back in November 2018. And you can see how I view the sun in the sky from day to day, how the altitude changes. So my fixed variable, which doesn't change from day to day, is my time, which is 5 p.m. I don't change 5 p.m. And I take the photo from the same place every day. And you can see that pattern where it gets lower and lower in altitude from day to day until we get to the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is not on the same day every year, and neither is the time of sunset of the winter solstice or the summer solstice for that matter is not the same, has not been the same. But what stays the same for both the summer solstice and the winter solstice is the direction of the actual sunset, where the sun goes down below the horizon. And I use at altitude 0.00. And at that point, the time of sunset is not the same. And neither is the um, uh, only the direction remains the same, which I think it's 285.95 degrees west northwest for the for the winter solstice, and then 243.55 degrees west southwest for the summer solstice. And those 2 points actually stay the same. Now, because of my position on the earth, I I'm sorry, I'm just trying to because I'm always uh slow to do my things simultaneously. um Not even the equinoxes have been the same for autumn or spring over the last couple of years that I've done these observations. So I don't know if any flat earthers want to talk about it. You know, no flat earther wants to talk to me. I've been shut down so many times on Facebook. And I saw, guys, I mean, tell me, am I losing my mind? Because I saw my homeboy, Flatzoid, on Modern Day Debate with Mark Reed. Now, I didn't see the actual debate itself because Flatzoid makes me cringe. Welcome, Purple.
Hello.
I hope I can hear you.
How's it going for you?
See, are you talking?
You are not hearing me.
Well, you are flashing, but I can't hear you at all.
Ah, I wonder what the problem is here.
And you're not muted or anything. Oh, wow.
Nope.
No. But I can't hear you at all.
What's StreamYard's doing?
Legit, paraphrasing obviously, but no man, there's like 100 different ways that you could read that and be no more correct. Because it's flowery
See,
bullshit language.
guys,
And not to mention that it's
the
translated
moving
from
atmosphere.
multiple languages,
This
so
is how
you are one of
terrible
the
it
first
is.
things whoever did
Okay,
those
when you
to
have
make
like
them up. But let's be fair.
not the best
If
camera
this
in the world,
was
and
a
you try to
secular
use a
day,
cell phone
and
to
if
make
God
these
did do this
observations.
and wanted people to understand,
But
it would have been written like this. To get into heaven, do X, Y, Z, and don't do A, B, C, the end.
The whole
But
world
if
is
I
an
was to
obstacle
write it, it
course
would
for
go,
you, isn't it?
you chuckles want to
Oh.
get into the
Purple.
good place. Stop
I
being an asshole. Also bicycle armor.
lost you.
Now get off my lawn.
I'm so sorry about that because you know I'm terrible at this. uh, and of course, we shouldn't have silence on the airwaves. Oh God. Oh God, did I just. Uh, Hi, can you try now?
Okay, can you hear me better now? Okay, I don't know what's going on.
Um, Hi, my mom bakes cakes. Yes, please, me pet. Be home in 15 minutes and then you can come rescue me from this. Whatever I'm doing here. StreamYard says Mike. Okay. Um, okay, viewers, can you hear purple?
Okay, can anybody hear me out there?
Anybody in the chat, can you hear purple? When we can still hear
Okay,
both of you. Okay.
Mippet says they can
So
hear both of us.
I can't hear purple at all. So when I see that icon flashing, I will let purple talk, and then you guys in the chat can tell me what happened. Go for it, purple.
Yeah, maybe it's just easier if I just type in the side chat instead then.
Why? Ah, I think I might be able to hear you. Say something. I
Okay,
found.
did you pick something up there? I thought I heard myself echo there.
Oh God, I hope you, because I don't have any earphones or anything, purple. I'm doing this like I'm talking into the air.
Okay, well, can you hear me now?
I can,
Okay, then we're okay.
which means somewhere along the way I put my own speakers on mute.
I do that a lot. I wind up selecting the wrong set of speakers. So I'm wondering why I can't hear anyone, and it's because the speakers in the bedroom are on instead of the speaker on my monitor.
Yeah, you know what that's called? Technologically challenged for the modern era.
Yeah,
Okay, so we were
I had
talking.
friends who swore I had a negative technology field, that I actually cursed electronics just by being around them.
I think my friend down under might have the same opinion of herself, and I might share that view also. Considering on how many live streams I've really showed off my true colors. I love it though. I don't really, it doesn't really bug me all too much, only when I really want to show something and I don't know how to do it. But I might have figured this one out. I mean, guys, those videos that I've lined up showing, like I got this moon video here.
Well, if you want help with stuff in StreamYards, I could arrange to do a private session with you sometimes if you got some questions you need answered.
Okay.
I don't know anything about OBS, but I've been using StreamYards for a long time.
OBS is so, I tried to use it. I don't even know how to load a video onto the thing to be able to, edit it or do something. I see scene one. Yes, okay. But how do I like add a video or add a photo or do any of those things on OBS? On this StreamYard, I think I might have figured some things out. I have loaded, like a couple of videos, like this one. I don't know if it's gonna. Welcome to the channel. I'm recording the audio for this video on the day after the autumn equinox. See, I've made a lot of videos like that. And then after a while I got tired because no flat earther even wants to look at the southern hemisphere.
No, they don't want to acknowledge the southern hemisphere exists at all.
Yes, but we have southern hemisphere flat earthers. As I was trying to say before, I was trying to get you in here. Flatzoid, which is my homeboy, lives here in South Africa, was on Modern Day Debate with Mark Reed from Australia. Two southern boys, guys, men, whatever, however they want to be called. And the one is saying that the earth is flat. And the one who is saying that the earth is flat went ahead and deleted those frames. We can't let him forget what he did. And he still wants to argue that the earth is flat. And then why hasn't he shown us simple things like Polaris from where he lives? I've offered him. I said, let's make an observation together. He shut me down flat. No, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Why
I know
not?
there's an Australian flat earther, which must be really problematic since half the flat earthers say Australia doesn't exist.
Gregory, I know he's my neighbor. That's why I said, but he's not so close to me that we can't do an observation, a parallax observation together. Even an hour's drive is enough to show the difference at exactly the same time. He won't do it. Yet he can go on Modern Day Debate and argue. I don't even know what he was arguing because, as I said, I can't really watch him. I can't listen to his arguments because I know what he did. And he's not, in fact, he hasn't apologized for it. What he's done, he's doubled down on it.
Yeah, I don't watch the debate shows because I keep going to back to that old thing that debating a flat earther is like playing chess with a pigeon.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what kind of evidence you present, they're just going to dismiss it and claim they won.
Yeah. So I'm still learning how to put my information together in a proper, coherent way. And what it shows is that either, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, either the earth is not like, I don't want to use words that confuse flat earthers. The earth is in an orbit around the sun and it is rotating on its own axis. Either that is happening or the sun is orbiting the earth and doing it in that like spiral pattern. Because as I said earlier on, it makes that lopsided figure eight in the sky. The smaller part of that eight is on the bottom right, and the bigger part of that loop is on the top left for me, from my
Yeah.
position on the earth.
Well, and I really admire the dedication you've had to this project of, taking the pictures at the same time every day.
Yeah, for now, it's almost like a part of me. Every day, my alarm goes off at 16:59. It's what happens.
I
I
have
don't
never
see
been
that
that disciplined to
dedication.
do anything at the same time every day.
I'm sorry, I missed that first part.
I have never had the self discipline to do the same thing at the same time every day.
Oh yeah, me neither. This was prompted by uh, flat earthers. When I first came, I was very late to the game. By the time I got to the game, flat earthers were already spouting their misunderstanding, misbeliefs, or misinformation and misunderstandings for about 3 or 4 years already. I didn't know my life. I was trying to survive and live and be alive. I didn't even know that there were people that were so privileged and pampered that they were using the technology that men and women and all sorts of people across the globe
Yep.
developed and discovered and perfected, improved, or maybe not perfect but improved, given us. And in my almost 5 decades on this earth, I actually see how things have progressed from the time I was a child to sitting here now.
Yep.
And you can't tell me that all of that information was wrong and still all the results are correct and help us the way we live our lives. That's not how that works.
Yeah, until I got active on YouTube, I didn't realize there were people who actually believed in the flat earth. I thought it was just a running joke. I just
I
I don't get how people in this day and age with all the information that's available can actually take that seriously.
Yes, how do you? Okay, the one thing that I saw today, and I can't bloody open my phone, but I will read that message. It was a Facebook post, and it mentioned the tilt of the earth. And like, even if you live on the equator, you are going to see that slight variation in your figure eight. If you are on the equator, your figure eight is going to be sort of like straight up and down, like how you write a normal eight on a page, but it's going to be elongated and look like it's sort of
Yep.
a straight line, but it's not. And that is because of the tilt of the earth. I don't know what else can it be that will cause the sun to do that and do that differently for me here in the southern hemisphere, someone on the equator, and
Wow.
then someone past the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere. It's different. It's even opposite for the northerners than it is for the southerners.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? And all of it simultaneously. Purple, this is happening. I always, when I'm trying to explain it, I say in reality, because what we are seeing is not reality. It's so deceptive. What we
Yeah.
see and how we can just interpret everything, it is deceptive. I can understand that.
Well,
But when
flat
you put
earthers.
all the information together, you see a rotating planet. You see it in the motion, how everything moves in your view.
Flat earthers have a real problem explaining why we have seasons at all let alone the fact that they're reversed in the southern hemisphere. Why it's summer in Australia when it's winter in North America.
They never give an answer, and that's why I chose the sun as my object of observation. In the beginning, when I started my channel, I did say I choose the sun for this reason. Every single one of us who are, debating this topic and arguing this topic can do it. I'm not saying do it like me every single day, like a maniac, obsessed maniac. But even if you do it once a week, you know, and every once a week at that exact same time, you just take that photo of the sun and see. See, you don't need anything else. All you need are those. And if you take a photo every week, that is only 52 photos, because I hope there's like 52 weeks in a year. And 52 photos can show you the rotation and orbit of the Earth. Peter Nuttall, how's it, darling? And Peter Nuttall, how's it, darling? I just said that. But you say yes, the pictures from space. But remember, for some of these guys, there's a dome and space doesn't exist. And I don't know. There are so many wrong things that I look out and I don't see any evidence of a dome. And because I understand that our atmosphere is air, and it's not just air, it's bloody pressurized, that is the pressure that flat earthers keep wanting to talk about. Where's the pressure without the container? It is highest, or should I say, most pressure towards the ground. And as you go away from the earth, it gets less and less. That's just what's happening.
Well, and
Oh,
that gradient itself proves that there's no container. Because if there was a container, it would be a uniform pressure for the entire volume of the container. The pressure would
yes.
not
Where is
decrease as you rose in altitude.
purple? Where is that even pressure? Even they've done their own little experiments. Why did that other guy who went up and jumped, why did he wear a mask? He needed help breathing up there. Why is that? Why, when we go in an aeroplane, they have to pressurize the inside of the aeroplane so all of us just don't die once we
My mom
it's a
says it's a
Tupperware.
Tupperware container.
Hey, I also know Tupperware in South Africa.
Yep. And Gregory was asking what's the maximum altitude allowed over Antarctica so aircraft don't crash into the dome.
No, besides that, I mean, I wouldn't even go that far. I want to know about the Voyager spacecraft or the Parker Solar Probe. Does the dome encompass the entire solar system? Maybe it's 40,000 kilometers, out from like where Pluto's orbit is, or how far is the dome? And then you've got this flat earther saying it's obsidian, the other guy saying it's
Okay, well,
gold. What is it?
there actually is a sphere that encloses your entire solar system, but that's because the Galactic Alliance has put the system under quarantine until you can learn to stop killing your own people.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say because of that, because of the solar wind expelled by the sun. And I found this fascinating. They say Polaris is like the actual pole star. That is the center. But it isn't. That star also varies that star also makes a little circle around itself,
Yeah, it's
in that
not
orbit.
directly above the North Pole. It's a few degrees off.
Yes, yes. So even that is incorrect. And oh, my hello.
Hey, Mippet.
Are you in?
Hello, yes. I don't know why I can't find my frickin' whatsy doody thingy, so I'm just going to be white for you tonight because I just can't be bothered going to find it. But I'm here, so who
Okay.
cares? Uh, hi, everyone.
Hi, how
Peter.
was
Hi,
dinner?
Gregory. How was dinner?
Hello.
Oh, God, all I wanted to do was kill them, so that was
Oh,
wonderful.
this is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Purple, what time is it in your country? Okay,
Uh,
in your time zone. Because
it's
your
nearly
country
5
has
a.m.
many time
here. I've
zones.
got about an hour and a half to sunrise.
Okay, an hour and a half. And Mipet, it's dinner time for you. And for me, it's almost midday, guys. I wish flat earthers can um like realize what's happening in the stream right now.
That we're all crazy. Yes. Because we'll all get up at any fucking time of the day or night just to have a chat with each other.
Oh, no, I haven't gotten up. I haven't gotten to bed yet.
Well,
she, hasn't,
exactly.
she
I
hasn't
mean, I
gotten up
just live
because
it.
she hasn't gone to bed yet.
I mean, the only day I actually have to get dressed is a Sunday to be official, Other than that, I'm in my jammies 24/7,
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
except,
pretty much been on that routine since,
yeah,
ever since COVID started and I got forced into an early retirement.
yeah. Throw on tracky dacks to go to the doctors. You'll be right.
Yeah, there's only about, 2, maybe 3 days a week that I actually have to get dressed to go to a doctor appointment or go shopping.
Yeah, same. And I try and get other people to do it because my car's having a fruity attack. But yes, 7:51 in Queensland, Peter. Yeah, midday for Gregory. Hey, my mum
Yes.
bakes cakes. Did I get everyone? I said hi to Peter, Gregory. Yep. All our boys are here. But yes. Sorry, what did I miss? I've missed bits and pieces. I've tried to keep up with what's been talked about.
Okay, now that I've got, yes, you've missed me ranting about flat earthers. But now I have a different problem
Go on.
with a different group of people, but it's almost like the same argument. It's like, oh, you globe believers just came up with this thing because you didn't want the truth of that thing to be exposed. I'm, generalizing, but I've heard this argument where, like, for example, um, in order to deny the
You
aether
think?
existing,
Oh, I hate
Mickelson
it. Yeah.
Morley had to come up with what?
I
Like
thought
they
you were
did the
talking
motion of
about.
the earth.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like the new world order. So you're going even further up than that. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I can talk about that because I'm in South Africa and I can throw a few bones into the ether sphere. um, we have BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and us, South Africa. And now we've got 31 nations who want to join us and have trade agreements and all sorts of whatever political pulls they want to do. I don't know. Um, so I don't know if you guys are aware, there is and we're not going to dwell on this too much because I don't know how everybody feels about it, but there is a um, warrant of arrest for the president of Russia, which is Vladimir Putin. And the International Criminal Court wants us to arrest him when he gets to South Africa, which is, I find ludicrous. Um, even though, everything that's going on. You can't just do that. And you can't ask us to do that either. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, my country really doesn't put one country against another country in that sort of way. I don't know. My foreign minister is quite straightforward. I'm agreeing with a lot of things she's saying recently. And so I think that BRICS meeting is going to be moved to Russia in order for not any of us to not be pressurized by the international community to do something which might be against our trade agreements with these countries, because everything is always so damn complicated.
Yep.
Don't do politics.
Yeah. So I wanted to come back to that argument with flat earthers where, they always say that we come up with this thing or that thing to refute something that we don't want to admit to. And for all my observations, I don't see any indication that the earth can be flat.
Wasn't there a flat earther recently that got given a ride up in the space, like one of the space flights where you go up to the edge of space for a while and you get to bounce around for a while and then come back down? And he went, oh, wow, it's night. And he definitely, it's definitely a globe. And then he got chucked out of the flat earth, the peoples.
I vaguely remember hearing something like that, but I don't know who it was.
Yeah. Craig, politics is best mixed with religion. Yeah. Now, politics, religion, and money, the three things I don't like talking about in mixed company. Well, or any company. I live alone for a reason.
My biggest question for any kind of conspiracy, is what's the motive? Where's the payoff? For flat earthers, how is anyone benefiting from hating the shape of the earth?
Can I answer that? I've actually heard an answer to that question. It's to hide God. It's to hide God. It's as simple as that. But
I've
my
heard that
question
one
is
mentioned,
even
but I've
more.
never had an explanation for what that means.
Yeah. But I don't know how you can hide God when only I think the count of atheists versus actual people who profess to not accept the God claims versus people who do accept any God claim, no matter what affiliation or whatever you are. The ratio is staggering. I think there are only like 500 to 600 million atheists around the world. And how do you hide God? On every street corner is a church or a mosque or
Yep.
you know, you and you get tracts and Bibles, and wherever you turn, there's Christian channels. There's Christian channels on YouTube. I've got DSTV streaming, and I can go click on one of those Christian channels.
My
and
mum
watch.
bakes cakes, and I live in the city of churches, and we've got every single type of church of exists here. And yes, we do have a Scientology church. We have plenty of mosques, and there's even a place, like we've got a big, massive Buddha statue that's a part of a commune thingy or something. That's down that way. Yeah, so we've got everything.
The town I had been living in Upper Michigan until a few years ago only had a population of 3,000 people, and there were 25 active churches.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
And it's like, Well, they're all believing that they have a direct line to God, but then why are there so many different variations?
This is my okay. My question starts with how come it is like after the fact that we know that God did or created or whatever influenced all of these things? Why is it only in sequence that we find out, oh, this is how this thing works? Or like we are doing one thing and we realize something else. And then after the fact, somebody will come along and say, oh, God did it that way. For me, that is unfair and it's unreasonable to expect me to accept that, oh, this thing was done by God and only 4.5 billion years later, some little human who was doing something discovered this thing and now it is attributed to a God. Where? How do you make that leap? And you profess that everything, everybody knows about God. And people who are atheists just deny God in your unrighteousness or whatever. But this knowledge is not written on anybody's heart, or we cannot look into the universe and decipher this knowledge. It takes hard work and bloody a lot of time to figure these things out. And some dumbass just comes along and says, oh, that is that way because of the mind of God. Fuck off.
Especially when he was only created a couple of thousand years ago.
Yeah. I mean, just the chalk beds. Do you hear any creationist or any defender of the Bible or Christianity or anything talk about the chalk beds? Because I've heard scientists, actual creationist scientists, say that we can't explain that. That actually just goes down to being a miracle. God just does what he does. But in order for that to happen, there would have been an ooze of life on the planet at that moment to create those layers or those strata. And that is way too much. And that's just the chalk beds I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not to mention all the fossil fuel deposits. All that oil is from plants that died during the Carnivorous period.
Yes. I mean, there's so many things that happened on the earth. And, if we just want to talk about Mepet's land down under there, that is where they found the oldest crystals, zircon crystals on the earth, which is in Jack Hills, where the crystals are like 4.1 billion years old. According to the
You're
diamond
showing
sellers,
my age. Just be quiet.
4.1 billion years old. No, seriously, you
I'm still
can't tell
surprised.
me these things because even when I was a Christian, and my friends know I was a Christian for a long time, and I was a God believer for even longer than I was a Christian. And I never believed any of these things of the flood being literal. I always thought it was a lesson that I was supposed to learn. And not just a lesson, probably several lessons. And no, these people come along and, oh, the whole entire earth was covered in water. But I'm living like 1,200 meters above sea level. How did all this water? No, no, no. You know what happened? The fountains of the great deep broke up. And that's when the continent first split apart and. How do you justify all of that? You need me to accept each one on its own and then all together and say, yes, your God did it, or whichever. It's difficult, guys. Apologists, if I don't think there's any apologists listening to me, but Please, when you make these arguments, they do not work. What they do is they reinforce the fact that I shouldn't believe in your God. That's what it does for me. And for my pet, it doesn't really do anything. She has her own question about legs. Ask a question about legs, my pet.
Well, why does God have legs? I mean, if we were made in his image, it means he's got legs. Why would he need legs? What does he walk on? Why does he need to walk? You know, I mean, if he's an omnipotent being, why do we have
That's
legs?
true. If he's always everywhere, he doesn't need to move anywhere.
Exactly. Why does he have legs?
Hadn't really thought of that one.
Who did I ask that one night? I asked Chemo one night. God, that was some word salad enough to get him out of that one. Until it was, I've got to go, I'm making a cup of tea. I've got to go make a cup of tea. And then that's the way he gets himself out of shit. He goes and makes himself a cup of tea.
Well, it's worked for the British for many centuries.
Greg, there's verses in the Bible that can be read that God has a massive penis, which I have no doubt of. Oh, there's all sorts of things.
Yeah. Wait a minute, God had a massive penis or God is a big dick?
Yeah, well, either way. That's awesome.
We can talk about that also. Somebody said we must sing, but I don't sing.
Well, no.
She's singing.
Look at this. It's the leg bone is connected to the knee bone. Knee bone's connected to the shin bone. Hear the word of the Lord. Yep. That's Mama Bakes Cake. So I did that just for you.
Oh, I didn't know that's what it said at the end of that. Hear the word of the Lord. Hear as in hear right now, or hear as in listen?
Christian
because there is
song.
written Here.
Yep, I remember being taught that when I was a kid.
Yeah, but I think it's meant to be hear as in you hear it rather than hear as in right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I always took it as being, that this is the way Lord made people.
Yeah, you're supposed to hear. Yeah, I realise that. But yeah, it makes more sense your way. Hear the word of the Lord is going to be shat upon, is what I would change it to. But hey. Anyway. So, Sal, continue on. What else are you doing?
I don't know. I want to know why God did not make us able to regrow bones. If we're supposed
because
to be
we are not
pinnacle...
as special as lizards. Yep. Also, I've been rewatching, and guys, I know there's only like 4 people. And spread the word. Go watch Aaron Ra's classification of life. There are 50 videos, and he tells you basically where it began and how the 3 groups of things diverged from each other, and how long ago it happened, and then he gets into the actual creatures. I mean, if you look at the fossil record and so on, it shows that like 99% of all life that ever existed on this planet has already gone. We are like the 1% remaining now. There's so much. The fossil record is overwhelming, actually. with all the creatures they found. And then the creationists will say, but Stephen Jay Gould said there are no traditional forms. No, that's not what he said. Yes, my mom bakes cakes. I'm there with you. We are
Yeah,
all there, but we try to deny it. But don't you think that's also unfair? I mean, considering, I mean, I don't mind talking about my age because of all the shit I've been through in my life and everything. But, my almost 5 decades on this earth, and I don't even get to see, basically, it's not even the blink of an eye in the grander scheme of things, you know? Like it takes 225 million years for this solar system to do one orbit around the galaxy, going around the barycenter of the galaxy or
yep.
whatever the hell they call it, you know. And my mom bakes cakes, that's gonna be like a dinosaur tooth or something like that, or a tiktaalik. I'm sorry, I just had a weird thought go through. I was watching Dapper Dinosaur, right?
Hmm.
And he was covering a geologist. That guy is an actual geologist. His name is Dr. Andrew Snelling, and he's from you guys, Australia. He's from down under. But now he works for Ken Ham in Answers in Genesis. And he lies about a lot of things. And he puts people in front of the folds in the rock so people can't see it, and then he says there's no folds. Guys, these are the levels of lies I'm talking about, and nobody lied these things to me when I was a Christian. I thought it was all about Jesus and doing the things Jesus said. Did I just deviate from the whole topic?
To be fair, I'm just starting to catch up with my medication, so my self-inflicted medications.
Ah,
So, what was the question? I was paying attention to something else. Sorry.
Well, my mom was asking what kind of music do you play on a fossil record? And I
yes,
keep
and I said, remember, oh, that's what I got. I got sidetracked by the bloody Andrew Snelling. Instead of Tiktaalik, you guys, they found a fishy type looking creature, but its forearms looked like it's the tips of its so-called fins were sort of like helping it prop itself out of the water to probably see what's happening and maybe catch a quick prey or something. This fossil is called Tiktaalik, but Andrew Snelling says Titilak. And he said that like 3 times in that one video. Titilak. So how are you going to take these guys seriously when they're trying to convince you of things and they are incorrect themselves? They're not giving you sort of like, I want to say, the correct information, even though they want you to think that the earth is only 6,000 years, blah, blah, blah. But they can't even get the names of the things correct. Instead of Australopithecus, it's these guys say Australiapithecus. Australia.
Who does?
The creationists.
Oh, okay. Well, they're fucking idiots. All right.
I don't know if we're allowed to call them just fucking idiots just like that.
Well, too bad they are. And Greg Nitzke, no idea.
Oh my God, my mom bakes cakes. You almost made me choke. Because he wrote there, Cation, right? But it's actually a cat iron. And who was that? Tell us his name, my mom bakes cakes. You can't just throw that out. I can't remember his name.
Where are you looking?
He was on MC Tune and FTFE, telling us how he's an engineer and he knows maths and all sorts of things. And but he was terrible. He was a flat earther, and he was one of the people who thinks that they are hiding God. Gregory, you can't. I think it's too soon. Trey Hutchinson, that's the guy's name.
No. That's been a long-running joke well before, Bob. It's not.
I
It's
never
totally
heard
not.
it until like
No,
right
it is a
now.
long-running joke. You can't. No, I totally get it, Greg. It was not meant in any way, shape, or form as a diss on Bob. It wasn't, because that's joke has
I'm sorry, but that's like
no,
too
it
soon.
has, because it goes with the no idea and all of that, and it's yeah. And I can't work yours out, Purple.
What do you get if you cross an elephant with a rhino? Elephino.
No, if we yeah,
I was gonna
if we
say like a
phase out
bull in
fossil
a china
fuels,
shop.
if we phase out fossil fuels, what will museums run all their dinosaur skeletons on? I want to know.
Didn't you know Satan put it in the ground to deceive you?
Yeah, that was one that kind of blew me away as a kid. That yeah, all the dinosaur skeletons were supposed to be some elaborate prank by Satan.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. At least he's not causing genocide. Oops, did I say that?
I don't think it's any of those things. The thing is that the earth is a natural object, hurtling like 108,000 kilometers per hour, whether it's velocity or its orbit around the sun or its rotation or whatever. It's doing that, and we are just along for the ride. And the things that we observe just bring us to a closer understanding of what our surroundings are doing. And those of us, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a conspiracy theory myself. I don't have a problem with, maybe constructing your own conspiracy theory from all the information you see out there, or you listen to other people's stories. That's fine. But when it starts affecting like your own behavior, the way you interact with other people, then it becomes a problem. And then you need to stand back and say, wait a minute, is that thing correct? That thing, the way I'm conducting myself with this idea, is it correct? And like you got the people who say that the Challenger disaster didn't happen. Those are egregious lies.
Yeah. Those are the ones that really disgust you.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you can say that, oh, NASA lies about its photography, but that also is a lie, because NASA actually tells you, if you look on the corner of the photo, generally it's on the top left-hand corner of the photo. It tells you whether it's CGI or it's compiled from whichever satellite that was taking, how much data that it collected and how it put the images together, how it translated the data into images even. And then it tells you which photos were actually taken, with a camera or a digital, whatever type of camera it was, whichever satellite the camera was on. So NASA actually tells us that. And then people want to say that NASA is lying when it says it's doing Photoshop or whatever. Most of these images won't be able to be visualized without compiling that data. And I don't necessarily want to say Photoshop, because even that in itself is misleading. because it's not really Photoshop. It's more like composites.
Well, I like to think of it like this. Back in the olden days, like before we had flash cameras and all that sort of shit, we used to take our film out of our camera and take it in to get processed. And then we'd go back in a week and we'd get you'd get your shots back. And then you can sort of go, oh, well, fuck, that one was a fucking shitty shot and that one was a shitty shot. So you end up spending half your money on shitty shots anyway. But hey.
Yes, and that's another great point, Mipet. It's like we woke up one day, like somebody mentioned hands in the chat. Yeah, it's not like we woke up one day and then we decided, oh, this is what we're going to do, and then we just did it. No, it took years and years and years of developing and perfecting the techniques, and building expertise and learning how light interacts with the atmosphere and objects and then some dumb fuck comes along and looks at 3 photos of the entire catalog of the photos of the Titanic and concludes that, oh, the Titanic wasn't happening, that isn't a boat, and it's a studio set or somebody's house or something, which was Hans, by the way, Hans Wormhat.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you even do that to yourself? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that they're the dumbest dicks out. But hey, what can you say?
I don't know, Mipet. Is it? I don't want to attribute like just stupidity or just malice. What is the point? What is the point of these guys deceiving themselves? I mean, Hans or even Eric Dubay. What is the point of them telling themselves all those things that are wrong about the earth or about animals? That other guy, Barnaby, whatever the hell his name is. That guy also, this is fake, that is fake. Fucking for him, sperm is fake, sharks are fake, the internet connections are fake.
That'd be right.
The animals in suits, apparently. Gorillas aren't real.
No, they're people dressed up in suits.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Just like Yetis and whatever.
Those are all
big-footed.
true.
Big-footed.
Sasquatches and what is that other animal? Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no evidence for those, but those are true. There's no evidence that there's evidence that the gorillas are real, and they say, the reason that, not they, Hans actually said this, the reason that these animals are so familiar with the people who interact with them is because there are people inside those suits. It's a gorilla suit with a person inside there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just goes to show how stupid some people are. And that's what I said. They're fuckheads. Probably should stop doing that, shouldn't I? Just calling everyone a fuckhead out of,
Yeah, I'm trying not to, but when you listen to those words coming out of their mouth, and you think, how do you like? Are you drooling while you're trying to dress yourself in the morning? Wow. Do you even have a job?
You wonder, don't you?
Is somebody feeding you with a plastic spoon, and you are strapped to your little table and chair thingy?
Well, absolutely. I'll strap you down anytime, Sal. Sometimes we need to duct tape ourselves to furniture just to make sure we don't do anything stupid.
Like responding to videos on YouTube?
Oh, talking about YouTube, I put a video out today. You should all go and have a look at it. It's really silly.
Yes,
It's got a
after
lot.
this.
It's got a lot of the fuck word in it. But I'll see if I can
Uh-huh.
just. I'll grab the link. I probably should have grabbed
Was
it
that
before.
the old hag who swallowed a fly one?
Yes.
Yes,
Did
I
you
watched
enjoy
that
it?
earlier. Yep, that was funny.
Good. It was like literally one take, and I just thought, no, I can't not do it in one take, so I just did. So I hope everyone enjoys it. What am I doing? I'm going to get a link, So you don't have to stop talking just because I did. You
I was
are allowed
just
to
reading
speak
the
to each
side
other.
chat.
Can you still hear me if the video is playing?
Oh, is there a video playing?
Yeah, I see the waxing crescent.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And the moon.
Now,
That
see,
moon, the moon's precession is like the easiest thing to calculate.
Yep.
Even with simple observations.
Now
The moon,
maybe
I
you would
can't
have had
take a
some.
photo every day.
Maybe you would have had some credibility with flat earthers if you had used a P900.
Yeah, maybe. But if I convert that the price of that thing into my money, we're talking like 15 grand. So I'm just gonna leave that one alone for now.
Yeah. It's just funny that they all swear by the same camera, and it's like, yeah, anybody who knows anything about photography tells you that it's not really a very good camera, and it's definitely not good for taking pictures of things at great distances.
And it makes the the waters above, like Donnie calls it, um it makes everything shimmery, like as if you are looking through water. It's the weirdest thing. And once you realize that, you won't come up with these crazy conclusions that flat earthers like to come up with.
Yeah, they always go on about that, every picture that shows curvature is taken with a fisheye lens. But they'll never accept that the camera they're using, the lens could be distorting something.
Like
That
my mum
is
bakes cakes. The water's above is where God takes a piss. Yeah, and the dome thing is his bloody, what are they in the bottom of the thing? Those cakes? What are they? God, I can't think of what they're called. The bloody, everyone, all the boys would know it because they're in the bottom of your urinal thingies. Okay.
Oh God.
Come on, boys. You know what they're called? Little
I thought they were
sanitary.
just called urinal cakes. I don't know what else.
Well, there you go. Urinal cakes. Okay. Well, these. Any men out there that could confirm urinal? Thank you, Peter.
I'm always so uncultured. I don't know any of these things.
Well, then ask. This is what thing is all about. You just keep asking shit until you run out of shit to ask. What do you do if you had two domes together? It's a globe. Yes. Don't eat the urinal cakes. Yes, Greg, don't do that. No, that's something the idiots would do, whether they be stupid people in flat earth or wherever else their compulsions take you, or your compulsions
don't drink the lemonade
take
that comes with them either.
Oh yes, especially if Dave's around. If there's any man named Dave around, just don't drink.
And
Especially not
actually, on
any.
a related note to that, because it's a timely thing, when you get up in the morning, do not trust the black jelly beans. Rabbits don't usually leave licorice.
Oh God, guys, no. That's why I've not had animals of my own.
uh, yeah, well, I've got a great hack for people with teenagers that may not like cleaning their rooms so much. So you wait until it's, pretty bad. And then you just get some black rice and you start just sprinkling it in and around it, just a little couple of bits here and there to start off with and a little bit more. And they're like, what's this? Ooh, ooh. And you go, oh my God, you've got mice. That's mouse shit. You bet. Do you want to clean your room up now? Oh my God, yes, to get rid of the mice. And there's no fucking mice there because you know that it's rice. So it's a really cool way to get the kids to clean their own room up. Oh my God, you have mice. True story.
That is a brilliant idea. Well,
Well, these days,
I never lived in a home, so I didn't have to do that.
these days, if you want to get kids to do something, instead of trying to take away all their devices, just take away all their charging cords and watch them panic as the batteries start to run down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was so poor that I couldn't give my kids stuff to take away. So that's a good thing. Now I
Yeah.
just don't buy my kids some data or something.
Yeah, and that's how it sort of, back when I was, when my kids were sort of younger, it was, they didn't care about getting grounded as long as they had their screens and their computer time and their TV time and all that sort of shit. So it was, well, tough shit. You're not having it. Go lie in your room. Go be in your room. That's it. So my kids soon learnt that you just do as you're told or you're just going to get fucked. So, because that was the type of mum I was, a real hard bitch. Because my ex was the softest bastard on the planet. So, yeah. Tell you what, the women of my family. Just got to train my daughter a little bit better. But other than that, tell you what, my granddaughter, holy shit, she's going to be an evil little cow. Oh, well, I shouldn't say it like that. She's a real sweetheart. She's actually is a little angel, but she's an angel, but she's not angelic. Okay, no one talk to me then.
Yeah, Steve's got another good one there. Change the Wi-Fi password.
Oh, well.
Tell them they'll get the new password after they've cleaned the room.
Yeah. That actually happened just recently. Until it was, Daddy, I want to do this. Daddy, in the middle, like when he's trying to sleep. So he's, oh, look, fuck it. Here you go. The new code is this. Go away. So he ends up giving it to them anyway. So it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. But there's no backup, I go over there. I'm a mean cow sometimes. Like today, I was mean. But then again, they were naughty, so.
Was a big advantage of only having stepdaughters and not having any of my own. Whenever they really got unbearable, we could both agree to blame it on their father.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh. But you got to worry about your kids, unfortunately. Anyway, enough about that.
Where's our broom? That's me shouting in my video because I'm trying to.
It's a state of incredible
visit-
helplessness to the point of dangerousness. You wouldn't even be able
I
to
should
feed.
hide this.
Wow, that was weird.
That was me. I was trying to get Venus, but then there was a video playing on the other computer that my mic just picked up.
I was wondering why I was only hearing that in my right ear.
Yeah, I could only hear one. Yeah, it went from left to right.
That
It
was
was weird.
terrible. I was hoping to show you Venus back in January this year. And that video was on the 2nd of January, 2023. And Venus was way in the west-southwest. And now it's very far west-northwest. What causes that? Is it only Venus moving, or is the Earth moving, or is that an optical illusion? Or like they've got the black fake sun and sun simulator. I mean, are they simulating your sky according to where you are?
Well, they
And
might
then
be stimulating it.
me, where I am, all simultaneously at the same, same object, same time.
I did hear one flat earther saying that it wasn't just that there's a dome over the Earth, but there's like each of us has a personal dome that the stars are projected onto. And that's why it could look different to people at different locations.
I don't have a problem with the personal dome. I have a problem with the projection of these objects onto the dome so that each of us, how fucking logistically ridiculous does that sound? We are like almost 8 billion people. How do you do that?
That's what I was wondering about. Where's the projectors for all of these things?
Yes, that's a good question also. I mean, I never thought about the actual projectors. I just thought about the actual logistics of the projections. Don't Google Mount of Venus. Isn't that fucking Roger? Peter, is that Roger?
Well, let's just say the Mount of Venus, women have 2. Well, yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to comment any further than that.
Oh, we're not going to talk about Roger and how everything's...
Oh, no. Yeah, Roger. He's wonderful at Mud Fossil University. He gives my people a hard time, so... He's a false prophet of the dragon. So, yeah.
Yeah, that thing about the mountain range being a dragon.
Yes. Ridiculous.
Yep.
It's a dragon in the desert. And everything either looks like, a girl or a boy. Or it's a foot. It's a foot, god damn it.
My mum bakes cakes. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, flirts are from Egypt, as they're all in denial. Nice one.
So what's everybody up to? Purple, I can't join your live stream at all because it's either very early in the morning or like almost when I'm going to bed.
No, all the time changes are all happening across the world at the moment. I don't know. The US. Has the US changed yet, Purple?
Yeah.
Yeah, you finally changed. I don't know whether I'm not sure about across Europe yet. Because Sal, you don't do daylight saving, do you?
No, we don't. You know why?
Yeah.
Because we are the fucking normal people of the fucking planet. Yeah, we don't change our time zones because we are fickle and weak and we can't follow the sun. Okay, you guys, wake up and let's all just have one. No, that's never gonna work. Gonna work. You know, because we have
Oh,
mostly
you
we
can
have
change.
our day in the morning and end our day in the evening. Like if you look at right now, somebody in Australia is not really, unless they, working night shift or something. We're not really gonna. You guys are not gonna be able to start your day now.
Well, depends.
Oh,
Yeah, not all
what's so special about Queensland?
well, a lot of not all our states actually do daylight saving. It just puts half out, like Queensland. It goes out of whack with our time zones all get fucked up even worse because Queensland don't do daylight savings when every other state does.
But isn't there one time zone in Australia that going from north to south you lose half an hour?
I know that's going east from the east coast across to where I am in the central time zone, and it's only a half hour time difference. But then you keep going to Perth, it's like, I don't know, by plane it's something like 4.5 hours, I think it is, 5 hours to Perth.
My mum bakes cakes. Why has Queensland not changed its name to Kingsland since we now have a king? Yeah, you guys have a king now.
I don't know. I
Well-
think you should just change the name of the province to the monarchy is grossly outdated.
Yes, that's a brilliant name.
Or no Queensland. Meaning it's not any individual Queensland. I don't know.
Well, you could just make it Queensland by setting up a lot of, drag clubs.
Oh, well, I was actually thinking the same thing as soon as I said that. And my mum bakes cakes. King's Land. You were thinking of King's Landing, weren't you?
Cape Town wants daylight savings for what? For what? They don't be idiotic. Don't just be different for the fucking sake of being different. We've been working this way for decades now. There's no reason for you to come along and bloody cause problems.
Well, where I lived in Michigan, that the state of Michigan had decided not to observe daylight savings time, except for the 5 counties that bordered Wisconsin. Guess where I was? So for half the year, our clocks were on a different time than the rest of the state.
And it's people who come up with these rules and regulations.
It's just weird.
Stevie B. Stevie B is also around.
Yeah, well, and the fact that it was literally the next county over was a different time zone, which, by the way, happened to be where the nearest hospital was, constantly fucked us up with missing doctor's appointments.
Oh God.
Because of the times.
Yeah.
Well, because for half the year, we were on the same time as the hospital. And for half the year, the hospital was an hour ahead of us.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, Gregory, I can't pronounce the new name. I'm not even going to try. I don't do that. I'm just going to give up. It's they've used like the Bushman or the Sand clicks in the names where they've put B's next to Q's and crazy things like that. So yeah, I'm not even gonna bother.
Oh, so it's one that they just shut their eyes and wrote a whole heap of letters down and decided that was what the name was.
I think you're being too generous. It's more like there were a whole lot of letters at the dartboard and somebody closed their eyes and threw darts.
Well, it would have to have been a monkey, obviously. Hi,
Reminds me
Stevie.
of Welsh.
Welsh.
No, we are in South Africa. The Welsh don't have anything to do with us.
Oh, yeah, but
No, they're
it sounds
changing the
like it
names
probably
of
could
like
be.
prominent cities and towns. And what's crazy is that foreigners, international travelers to this country will have to try and learn to pronounce these words. And they're not easy like Timbuktu or Nairobi or something. It's hard, difficult words that are in African dialects, which is not fair to the rest of the world.
Yeah, at
Well,
least in
that's
American, we just have like every European language trying to be blended together.
Yeah.
I maintain that the reason for most of the place names in the upper Midwest is because it was an English map maker trying to spell what a French explorer mispronouncing a Native American word was.
Yeah. That is probably it. Don't they do the same thing or the same idea with like ancient texts and things like that, where they translate it into this language and that language
Yep.
and then into English, and then it becomes almost distorted from its original idea.
Yeah, well, because, like the language they're taking it from had phonetics that just aren't part of English and they're trying to figure out how to spell them.
Yeah. And then you want to
yeah,
come
rather.
now and tell me in 2023 that the King James version of the Bible is the absolute word of God. That's where, because of that exact argument,
Yeah.
is why I can reject, the assertion that the Bible is the word of God.
Yeah, that it wasn't until the 17th century that we got one that was the accurate word of God.
And still, I was listening to another guy that I quite like, and it's Bart Ehrman, and he does a whole lot of studying on a lot of things. And there are so many, um, hidden secrets that when you go to church as a Christian, you don't get to know these things. Nobody tells you who or how they put the Bible together, who decided what goes in and what stays out. And still at the end of Revelation, there's the audacity that nothing shall be added or taken away, which, it's just not correct to handle these things this way.
Well, wasn't that the main thing the Council of Nicaea was about in the 4th century? About which books would be part of the Bible and which ones wouldn't?
From what I learned recently, it wasn't the Council of Nicaea that did that.
Okay, I could be
It
wrong
was
on that.
apparently it happened over a period of like couple of 400 or 500 years where
Yeah.
the church fathers, whoever they were arguing back and forth, because every time they looked, there was another letter written from this person to a different city saying how you must be, how to be a Christian or do this or do that. That's how they had to decide what becomes canon in the Bible.
Yep.
And that's how we ended up with what most of us know as the Bible, with the 66 books. But then it gets even more complicated, because some denominations of Christianity have more books in their Bible than what I considered a Bible when I was a Christian.
Yeah, even when I was a kid in the Catholic Church, it made me suspicious what they had left out of the Bible. Because Jesus had 12 disciples and we only had 4 Gospels. So why didn't they want us to hear from 2/3 of his closest followers?
And the other thing that, if any Christian might get a word of my opinions on this, I don't know. What pisses me off is that how come Paul, who was never there, with Jesus and interacting with Jesus, and he wasn't there. He wasn't in that circle of the disciples. And he got to dictate to the Christians what they should and shouldn't do. And that became gospel in the Bible. How come Paul got so much authority over Christianity when he wasn't even with Jesus, at the time, supposedly?
Because he had a better publicist.
I mean, I did ask, and I get the same old stale answer, is can you ignore Paul and his teachings and only rely on what, according to the 4 Gospels, what Jesus wrote or what Jesus said to those guys? And the answer that came back is, oh, everyone picks and chooses from the Bible. That's not what I asked. That's not the same question. And we can't get answers to these from the apologists.
Yeah, and Gregory's saying that there are passages in John, like the woman caught in adultery, that's made up later. And there's at the end of Mark, there's a couple of entire verses that they know were added a couple hundred years later.
Yeah, I mean, the whole of chapter 2 of Daniel, or should I say Daniel 2, is, or second Daniel, however you say it, is a fabrication. It's an entire fabrication, and a lot of Christians know that. I didn't know that when I was a Christian. All of these things that I talk about now, I learned after leaving Christianity. Like, I named my first child Matthew. I named my child Matthew, thinking that Matthew was a person with the person that says he's the Son of God. That's what I was under the impression, because Matthew is named first in the New Testament. And I thought, wow, the guy that was with God when he was walking on the earth, that's what I want to name my child. And when I think about it now, I was misled and lied to.
Yep, Jesus' personal biographer.
Yeah, and then nothing of the sort happened. Apparently, when the early church fathers were talking about these gospels, they weren't named. It wasn't the gospel according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. It wasn't. And they attached these names to give it more credence as they were trying to get the religion to move forward.
Well, and specifically those names when they were trying to bring the Bible to people in Europe.
Yes,
they wanted some very typical
identifiable. I mean,
European names.
Do you honestly think that an Arab, a Hebrew oak running around, or a Jew oak running around in first century BC will be named John? I don't think so.
Yeah, more
Yes,
likely they would have
Gregory,
been
yes.
Abdul and Hamad. And
And how many Josephs were there? How many Jameses were there? I mean,
well, actually, there wouldn't have been any Josephs or Jameses because the letter J wasn't even part of the alphabet then.
you see? So where do you get Jesus from then? You know?
Yeah.
And then we've got the other side of that same argument. You must call the one true God Jehovah. And apparently it's missing the vowels. They've only got the consonants and say, oh, okay, this is how you have to pronounce it. I don't know. There's so many things. None of these things I knew when I was a Christian. And then you want to come now and tell me, after all the knowledge that we've discovered, I mean, that guy who discovered the radio waves, discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, he was building a radio telescope. And every time they tried to do the test, something was interfering with it. And when he looked, he realized that it was that radiation. That was an accidental discovery and um, uh, confirmation of what Georges Lemaitre proposed, that if there was an initial rapid expansion, there would be evidence. And that evidence would be in the form of like a background radiation. And then that guy wrote, oh, if this is what I would have deducted if I only had the first 5 books of the Bible first 5 books of Moses and the entire Bible. That's what he would have concluded, finding the cosmic microwave background radiation. I find that hard to believe, very hard to believe,
Okay.
because it
Well,
was many years from the time that guy proposed it to the time that that guy discovered it. It was 2 different people. So where does God come in to give us that knowledge?
I need to go get horizontal in the dark before the sun comes up
Ah,
because I'm sure
okay,
that sloth girl
darling.
is expecting me to get up by noon, and that's only 6 hours from now.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, I
Really
hadn't seen you
appreciate it.
around in a while. I wanted to check how you were doing.
Yes, I'm doing great actually, Purple. I don't like to brag too much because of how hard my life was previously. But I'm actually doing great now. So I hope you have a good rest and maybe you'll join us again sometime.
Yeah, if I happen to catch you on,
I mean, these streams are just, so spot on. Every time that the Sal posts that she's going to be on, I mean, she's pretty spot on. She does it quite regularly.
yeah.
Hey, stop it.
Well, but
What?
she's
Oh,
usually starting at 4 a.m., and if I ever have to get up in the morning, I can't be doing that.
exactly.
Okay, good night.
All right,
Good
Purple
night.
night.
So, as I was ranting about that, I wonder if this one has any sound in it, because I've got here a comparison video of Venus moving across the sky in 2021. And, you know, I've been making these observations for so long now. Fire lifter Gregory. Thank you.
Night, Gregory.
I see the clouds are heading in again today, as usual. Starts off very beautiful in the mornings, and then the clouds move in, and then we have fairly nice, clear, crisp evenings where I'm still able to get a view of Venus. Yes, Gregory, that is also my point. That's why I say what I say. You know, you can destroy all the science books and we can still discover everything, through observation and everything. But destroy all the religious books, and what are we going to have? What are we going to have? We're going to have to make religion from scratch and make up all these things, again as we go along. Sorry about that. Why can't we just look to nature and get our answers from the natural world? Why does it have to be a God? And even if there is a God, why does it have to, be in charge of everything? And I mean, is God pushing the pulling the planets? You know, is God causing all of that?
Oh, why does God say it spelt backwards dog? This is a good. Wouldn't
Yes,
that be a
it's
good
because
question to
we.
ask? You know?
No, darling, we came up with the squiggly lines to represent things, and then I can say words like this that actually have meanings, and then I say the words in context, and you, as a receptor of these things, can maybe understand because you've had the same level of learning or plus minus that you can comprehend what I'm saying. I don't
So
see why
God is
that
a
should be a
dog.
difficult thing.
Yeah, so God is a dog. Okay. That's my level of understanding.
Just confirmation. God can be whatever you want. Honestly, there's you can't really dispute that. I mean, why are there so many religions? Why are there so many ideas of, who or what or where God is? When it comes to talking to different people, and a lot of the time, I'd say at least 90% of the time, the religious person is a religious person because of where they were born and who they were born to. That environment influenced them in the direction where they are now. If a person isn't born being told, oh, you have to go to church and Jesus did this, how will they know without that message being passed on by a mortal? I mean, it's not like God is coming down and giving each of us individually this type of information. And this information that we have now, I mean, even my laptop working and having my pet be on this live stream with me, and having people write messages and everything, that didn't come by accident. We didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'll do an internet, or I'll do this video, or let me see what the simulator is showing me today. No, this comes with a lot of time and effort and
Yeah, the
patience,
effort
mind
that I
you.
put
You
in, I
see,
tell you. Holy shit.
I
Just my
mean, just
time
in this
just
video, I've got 6 months of Venus.
Oh, so another 6 months of me fucking life, but that I'll never get back. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a year if I've watched a couple of them twice. Is that what you?
Yeah. Uh, No, Gregory, I'm actually on the Mulatto Road going from Eastland to Kwamashlanga. So I don't know. And if, as my pet knows me, I don't really go anywhere unless I'm going to visit the kids. So maybe you can give me, I mean, we do have 9 provinces. So you can tell me like a province or the biggest, nearest, biggest town or something. But I don't feel like, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people, and somebody's sexuality is their own business. I don't see why other people should be discussing it. And as a human being, and I have this conversation with my pets quite often where I say, you're a person, I'm a person. And unless you are trying to interfere with my life and the way how I live my life, then maybe I might have a problem with it. But each individual person, whomever they choose to sleep with, is not my business, and it shouldn't be anybody else's business either, unless we know that there are boundaries. Like, I don't think like a 26-year-old guy should be trying to date a 15-year-old girl and things like that, okay? Like, I have boundaries with those things, but when it comes to like gender and sexuality and those types of things, I don't really want to be involved with other people's lives. I don't want to have discussions on how other people should or shouldn't be with the people they choose to be with. I don't think that's fair. But on the other hand, I can't have it. I won't stand for it. I won't accept it that a man who's an actual man is running around in a woman's dress telling us that he's now a girl. And maybe psychologically you think that you're a girl, but unless you honestly examine yourself and go for counseling and do all the things that you need to do to make sure that you are indeed a girl, I'm not going to take you seriously. And I'm being serious about this. If this is not against anybody, I'm not a um, fucking transphobe. I hate that word. That word is a terrible accusation. I'm not afraid of trans people. What I don't like is that you're using this agenda to push some other agenda. If you really are a man and you feel like you're a woman trapped in a man's body, please go for it. Live your life the way you deem necessary for your own self. But don't run around out here putting a woman's dress on and then tell me you're a girl and I must just accept it and give you all the benefits of being a girl when you're actually a boy. Or vice versa, mind you. But I don't find many girls running around dressing up as men, insisting on getting men's rights. Sorry, rant.
That's okay. It's just that I know 2 trans people, one going one way and one going the other way.
Yes, and those people are fucking true to themselves. What I don't want, my pet, is the lying POSs that are using these people as a front. It's not fair to the real ones who have real issues and are trying to find themselves. These people are making it hard, like, the hitchhiker. I can't go and hitchhike the way I did in 1998, 1999. I can't. It's so dangerous out there right now. It's not the same things. The people who have hurt hitchhikers and done all those things, they've made it difficult for the people who really need a lift to somewhere. It's very rare that you'll find somebody that will just pick up somebody that's hiking a lift.
Yeah, well, who knows what fucking mass killer's going to be getting into your car.
or you're going to end up being the mass killer because that the oak that gave you a lift is going to end up being a jerk or something.
You said it, I didn't.
Just don't lie to us about things. Be true to yourself, be true to the people around you. Don't invent victimhoods that don't apply to you, and let the real victims get their their needs met, their services, and everything else like that. And also be fucking consistent. Don't treat one group of people like this and then treat a different set of people for the same things a different way. That is a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
I barely wear a dress. I have now one dress, and I'm a girl. I'm a girl, but I only have one dress.
Yeah, Gregory, I wear dresses all the time. Peter Nuttall, I don't wear glasses, but clothes most of the time. And then Mum Bakes Cakes asked Gregory, "Are you Scottish? Do you wear a kilt?" And Gregory just laughs.
Okay,
Never
there's
owned a
another
kilt.
question for you, Mip. If God made Adam and Eve naked, why do we even wear clothes now?
Because there's shit called weather. And why did he have to fucking invent weather where we either freeze our tits off or burn our butts?
That is the other thing, And why don't we just have like eternal supplies of things that we need to live? Why do we still have to eat another organism in order to get energy and things like that?
Well, because he's useless. If he is real, he's fucking useless. So I prefer that he's not real and, yeah, doesn't make men useless.
Gregory says, explain the belly button thing on Adam and Eve. That is a fucking good question.
It is. Yeah.
Also,
And
I heard a Jewish...
I want to know, how did they stick the palm leaves to their little boobies and their little willies? Did they have chewing gum to stick it there? Or did they have a horsey that they slaughtered and used his hoofies to make glue? I don't know.
Maybe sap. Maybe like tree sap.
Are you sure they weren't supposed to touch? Well, they've already fucked themselves because they'd eaten from the fruit of the tree. So, yeah, guess so. Yeah.
Velcro. No, my mom bakes cakes. Remember, people invented Velcro. Also, the other question is, obviously, we've found evidence that we've been wearing clothes for like at least 100,000 years. So how does the 6,000 year in creation fit in with the 100,000 years of wearing clothes?
Because we've only been here for 6,000 years.
No. According to logic, the universe already popped into existence in 1972. I'm willing to go with logic instead of the creationists. Makes all my arguments a hell of a lot more worse, but hey, who cares? No, God only created the birds on the... Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. True, but it's...
Yes. You see, NASA has given us actually a lot of inventions, including that memory foam thing and Velcro and quite a couple of other things, that they use in like technology. I mean, even the internet.
Yeah.
NASA put it together, and
Yeah, I
then
was going
had
to
no
say a lot of
choice
the
but to like
components
give it to the world.
were made elsewhere, but NASA put the components together to make it what it was going to be.
Yes, yes. And that's why we say we stand on the shoulders of giants. That is not just something, it's not cliche, it's not just something we say. Everything we are doing now, other people worked very hard with other people's hard work to get us to where we are today. Me talking to you in Australia and talking to the people, on this internet connection. And
Actually,
we
it's
had to
been quite
discover
good.
it by ourselves.
Yeah. Goddamn internet.
Yeah. Okay, I know it's a joke, but God could only give us 3 days out of his whole entire eternal existence. He can only give us 3 days, and he's got such a short temper that he just, smites and floods, and he's just gonna fucking kill everybody who doesn't worship him. He's such a I want to say petty, like almost like a little toddler that's not getting his sweets for the day or something. It's
Also,
just
he's cracking a
not
tanty.
nice. No, from what I understand, they weren't real giants. Please don't confuse already confused.
My mum bakes cakes. We stood on the shoulders of giants, so does that mean there were real giants?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
He's joking, Sal. Don't have a heart
I know. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes along and says, yes, because they say that, it must be true. Those were literal giants. I mean, there was like a 20-foot tall Einstein walking around giving Einstein all his ideas. Don't you know?
Oh, sorry.
That was another. I was waiting for Sir Sick to actually cover that topic, but he wasn't as brutal as I was hoping he'd be, because, they say that you must give 10% to the church, but
Oh, good luck with that.
the church doesn't, isn't it. What word am I looking for? It doesn't have to declare its
tithe.
finances and tell us what it's spending its money on.
But isn't that
And
up
why
to a
does God
certain
need money
amount?
anyway? Why does God need money? Why doesn't, if you're the chosen person of God doing God's work, why do you have to ask mere mortals to help you along?
Everything should be provided. Go get a pond out the back, drop your line in. You should have fish in minutes. Because he taught people to fish rather than just give them one.
Yeah, but the Christians aren't doing that, are they?
No, well, we
And
just,
in 2023, if you're still giving your money to the church after you've seen how the church behaves, I mean, there's not one, you don't hear anything good about a church unless you're hearing something bad about it.
yeah, well, I don't agree with that. It depends on where you live and what church. That's all I can say about that.
Yes, I know that there are good people. Like, there are so many things that I dislike about this world, but I know inside the things I dislike, there are actually good people.
Yeah.
You see, there are good people, but there's nothing that good people can do, especially with what we are facing these days. There's no way, unless, I get myself 50 grand and I start my own political party and things.
Oh, geez, that is not much to start a political party.
Yeah. That's just the initial registration fee. You need funds for other things. You probably got to make uniforms and posters and slogans and have press conferences and blah, blah, blah. And maybe have at least one vehicle, maybe with your emblem and everything on it and whatever. But yeah, 50 grand is what it needs to start. Maybe it's gone up a little bit now. I don't think so. The last time I heard, to open a political party, you need 50 grand. Well, I need 50 grand.
Oh. Because wouldn't you love to be a politician?
I'd love to be a politician. I can talk shit for hours and hours and hours, and that's all it takes to be a politician, isn't it?
Pretty much. Private jets, mansions.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be able to be that kind of politician. I want to, build a desalination plant and pipe water to communities that don't have water. That's my thing. I care about water. So, my pet, you said you got a video coming up. We can wrap it up.
No, it was out put it out this morning. So, well, this morning for me, which is, I don't know, 10 hours ago, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's called The Old Hag versus the Fly.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. It was a one hit, I just did one out and just did it. So you're getting the real feeling of how I felt while I was doing it. So, yes. It's just another little bit of a story, but it's a bit too naughty to make a kid. It's a kid's story sort of here in Australia, and I didn't really realise that it wasn't around everyone knew it, or that not everyone knew it. It was a surprise to me. Because Peter Noddle, he'll know what it is, and so will Mum Bakes Cakes.
I'll go watch it now when we are done.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I was trying to make the slideshow with the 5. I was trying to make the slideshow with the 5 p.m. photos.
You got me on screen. Oh, thank you, Peter. I think I've already hearted your comment. Oh, here we go, Greg. The guide I go by is compare the pastor's houses to the poorest person in his congregation, and why do most congregant live in shacks in Cassie and the preachers in Santon? Oh, okay, so they don't even live in the same area? That's really shitty. No, she's not.
Hello?
Hello.
I got kicked out completely, just right out of the stream.
Oh, did you? Well, I've been
And
standing
then
here
it told
crapping on,
me,
so
it's not your fault.
I was just saying, well, I was just chatting away. We were all right. Didn't even realise you were gone.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I just
but
moved
Greg,
out of the way of the camera, as you saw my whole space where I'm sitting. I just moved myself out of the way because I don't really want to show my face, but yeah.
Kazi is a location a shanty town, Santon is one of the most luxurious places. Oh, right, okay. So in other words, yeah, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and they just get screwed over once more.
That is definitely a thing. I don't think people can deny that that is a thing that happens. But you can try to climb your way, above the poverty line and try to work your way up in life. I am like a testament to that. You know, Bobby and I struggled for many years, and only now um, we can afford to just put nice food on the table and not stress about it. It is possible. It is possible.
Yeah, but I get what he means. Go by and just compare his house to the poorest person in his congregation's house.
And they guilt those people into giving them their lost money instead of her buying food for her children or sending her kids to school. She gives it to the church thinking God will give her more, but then she ends up not getting more.
Yeah. See, this is religion. Fucking religion, which I don't talk about normally, and bloody whatever the fuck we were talking about before that I don't normally talk about. Oh, that's right, politics. You're just
Yes,
doing it
but
all
if you
horrible to me. You're doing it on purpose.
and
We're not talking
and
about money, so piss off.
yeah, look, these things are very contentious.
Yes, I agree. And as you can see, I've been silly in the out here, boys and
Not a
girls, and
problem at all.
so you guys just take me with a pinch of salt anyway. I know.
Well, as for me, I'm not going to be really uploading videos. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I am collecting all my observations, and I suspect by the end of this year, my life is going to change. And I probably won't be here to carry on the observations from this location. If that happens, then I will sit down and put all my things together, get all the information, and then publish maybe several books, one titled Venus, one titled Mars, one titled The Sun, whatever. I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, for now, I just work my 7 to 5 job on weekdays, and I work my weekends. I get my every second weekend off. I go visit my kids. So my life is fairly full right now. I don't stress about much. Least of all, the flat earthers and the religious apologists who use God to undermine like scientific discovery and stuff does get on my nerves. It really does, as you well know.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, you guys must have a good Easter weekend. Tomorrow I'm only working for 4 hours.
Oh, tomorrow there's what is tomorrow? Sunday in America, which is Monday over here. Oh, it's public holiday tomorrow, isn't it? Oh, well, I'll be sitting on my ass and doing pretty much nothing then. So the internet will get all my attention, I guess. What a surprise. I will be catching anybody somewhere or everybody somewhere at some stage. Oh God, where's
That's how we do it.
my phone's? Yeah, my phone's just decided to remind me: take your drugs, take your drugs.
Oh wow, is it that time already?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. All right. It was wonderful just chatting away. I'm
It
glad
was. It was
that
great.
you and Purple joined me because damn, I was talking alone for so long.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did try and get here as soon as I could, but yeah, dinner with the family is quite an ordeal, as you
Yeah.
know. It's a lot of fun
Yeah.
at the moment.
I'm off, but Bobby is at work today. And I don't know if they will close a little bit early because, well, that boss.
Mm,
My
yeah, bosses are always wonderful, aren't they?
boss was quite nice. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't go to work today. We were closed today. I was very
Yeah.
surprised to find that we were closed.
The Easter Bunny comes today, or came today.
Yeah, and it's one of my co-workers' birthday. I don't think he'll ever listen to this, but wherever he is, I hope he has a wonderful day. His name is April.
April.
April, yeah. And his birthday is in April. Maybe that's why his parents called him April. I didn't realize that until like right now.
I think like that's in the Western world, if you like, over here in the Western part of from you, April is actually a girl's name. I've never heard it as used as a boy name, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, I was also quite surprised when I first met him a couple of months ago. Usually you find a girl named April, not really boys.
Yeah, I mean, there are boys' names that girls have that still make sense, like Charlie and shit like that. That
Yeah,
Christine will go down to Chris and what have you. But yeah,
yeah.
very
And
interesting.
I am not Christian. I am not Christian. Says Bob Nodell passed away. Yes. We are aware and we have passed on condolences to his family and friends. And yeah.
Yeah, you can catch that at the beginning of the stream.
All right, guys, have a good one. I probably will do another live stream tomorrow after work. And then on Tuesday, it's back to normal again, back to working. And no, I think the 1st of May is a public holiday, though.
Oh, that's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, wonderful.
And Gregory, you're naughty. Yeah, you've just got to read the comment. I'm not reading it out.
I read it. Yeah.
Yes, Peter Nottle, Mayday.
Yes. Here in South Africa, it's Workers' Day. But before that, I think on the 27th of April is Freedom Day in South Africa. So that will also be a half day for me.
Isn't it great?
From now on in through the rest of the year, there's like public holidays almost every month.
That's cool. I love it. Anywhere around the world you go, and someone will find some excuse to have a fucking holiday.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Works for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, lovely peoples. I'm going to
We will catch you on the flip side.
Will do. And
Enjoy.
bye.
Bye.